Hey there everyone! Welcome back to another exciting video for the Shibarium community and its partners. I'm Cezanne Shib, and my mission is to spread knowledge and positivity within the Shibarium ecosystem. This video is the 42nd of all X-Space Weekly DAO Update series. This X-Space was held November 7th, 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces, number 42, and a Bitcoin all-time high this week. Great opportunity for us to be here. A very privileged position for me to be in, to be hosting the K9 Finance Weekly DAO Spaces on such a bullish week. Hello, I am Pulse Digital. I've been here with you 42 times, and I'm here yet again for another weekly update from K9 Finance. If this is your first time here, hello. You are probably very confused by my enthusiasm. If you've been here, you understand the situation, you understand the assignment. So what we're doing is we're going to bring up community members that have been doing things throughout the week. You're going to hear from them, hear about what they've been building. You're going to be able to follow through on a lot of this stuff. And hopefully next week when we get together, we'll follow up on it all again. So we've got Buzz and Turtle up here, and we're going to cycle through some other speakers. I know some other people who are trying to be here today, but Buzz is always the first person we check in with. What a week to be here, Buzz. How are you?
Yeah, pretty crazy week. Like I'm just a non-American spectator of the election, so I'm very much so think that crypto is a bipartisan issue, but I think people have I mean, clearly the market has priced in that a Trump win was good for crypto, and many of the pro-crypto candidates that got put into place. So I'm certainly excited for Bitcoin. I put out a tweet today just about what the recipe is for an alt season, and just having been through 3 different Bitcoin halvings in the past, hitting all-time highs and having a really high Bitcoin dominance is like step number 1. I do expect value to flow into Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum has had a big day today. $2,800 Ethereum still just, to me, feels so undervalued. Like I think for a lot of people, they actually think that Ethereum maybe had a competitive moat underneath the previous government, and maybe Trump is going to bring in some sort of roadmap for other L1s or L2s and things like that to prosper. But the market's not really pricing that in, so I'm excited because what's good for Ethereum is really great for K9 and of course Shibarium and Shiba Inu and the ecosystem that we're in. So I think things are looking really good. I'm excited about it.
Now, the same question for you, Turtle. It's been a crazy week, no matter what you're looking at in crypto. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, feeling great. Obviously very excited about the clarity around crypto that it seems like we're going to have moving forward. I think I was talking about Bitcoin price and being bullish, not financial advice, by the way, on the last 2 spaces, and just very pleased to see the continued momentum in the market and the adoption and kind of the acceptance of crypto. Even at kind of the Senate and House level, there was just a ton of at the US Senate and House level, just a ton of pro-crypto representations that have come in. And kind of like Buzz was expressing, Bitcoin has not had the same challenges as Ethereum when it comes to regulatory challenges or enforcement under the last 4 years. And I really think most of that gets out of the way. And I think that kind of speaks to some of the ETH BTC price correction that we're starting to see. But there's a lot more there's a lot left there on that bone. So, assuming the candidate that's in now sticks to what they said they were going to do, with the pathway being cleared, it really opens up room for the Ethereum price to grow. It's just very exciting.
It's like a collective exhale from everybody, or a loosening of a belt. It feels like people are just ready to kind of maybe put their liquidity back in and stuff. So I'm here for it. I'm very excited to be here for it. And talking about it on Spaces has been a real hoot, because depending on where everybody's coming from, they're all bullish on their own things. Buzz and I have had a couple of conversations about Ethereum relative to either Bitcoin and why isn't it moving, or Solana, maybe why Solana went up and stuff like that. But it's all bullish stuff. Now, Buzz, you've been busy throughout the week, not just paying attention to this, but there's 3 different things going on in the forum here for K9. And I want to give you and Turtle both an opportunity to talk about these things because I'm not sure everyone knows and everyone can still vote on them. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. I also wanted to touch on Shane. I know that you've become a fan of that Coinbase ranker bot that I sent you. I saw you talking about that today, and overnight, the Coinbase app, I noticed that you had actually brought this up, but it went up 100 different spots. So for those listening, like one of the indicators that I look at for retail involvement in crypto in general is the one being Google Trends searches. So as of last week, the Google Trends on Bitcoin and crypto was still about 40% below all-time highs, kind of signaling that right now it's a lot of like smart money getting in and big money getting in and not more of a vast retail crowd, which kind of, to me, signals more room for growth. And then another retail indicator that I look at is the Coinbase app ranking, just knowing that new retail users who are coming in and sort of expanding the pie for crypto often get onboarded with the Coinbase app. And it was really low. Like in the last 3 weeks, it's went from like a 500 ranking to like 136 ranking. And it's been the number one app in the App Store before. So we're still, in my eyes, still a lot of room to growth for peak euphoria. But to answer your question, Shane, we have there's 3 proposals in the forum. So the first one is a budget proposal. So the original budget that we as a DAO, and again, this is up in the nest. I do encourage people to read these, but I'll do a bit of an overview. So the original budget was I believe it was a 6-month budget when we voted it in. It was department by department, and that has expired. So this is a renewal. It's about a 40 to 50% reduction on the budget, just now that the product is built. So definitely a lot less engineering work that's sort of needed in that capacity, and more in like a growth phase of a product phase. So it's a simplified budget. So rather than going department by department and getting that granular, it's like a very clear breakdown of just what is available to the DAO per month. In the proposal, you'll see exactly what resources that includes. So operational resources, marketing, development, mod team, customer support, and things like that. And just kind of outlines like where the budget's going to. Like a lot of this is really product infrastructure, the validator stack. But it's a lot of detail in that budget proposal. So it is a $60,000 a month budget proposal. Again, it's a reduction, very, very sustainable for the DAO. Like I think it's a really good balance between reducing the budget before, keeping a really strong runway, and most importantly, allowing us to stay very nimble for potential new opportunities while seeing what the growth of Shibarium is going to be like in the next 4 months. So it's a 4-month budget proposal, which I think is a really good timeline for us to probably see big catalysts upcoming for Shibarium. So for example, Treat. I think everyone thinks that could be a really, really big bolster for the Shibarium ecosystem. So within this, there's also clauses in the budget saying like, hey, we can scale up or down based on Shibarium growth. Like if we see Shibarium going parabolic and it's like, oh damn, like we really need to double down on marketing here to keep up with the growth of Shibarium, that budget certainly has the flexibility there to do so. So definitely encourage people to read that. There's another proposal about adding additional liquidity onto Uniswap. So I believe it's $125,000 of USDT in that proposal being converted to ETH and then paired with K9 to add more liquidity to the Uniswap pair. So that will allow for just better liquidity depth and profile on the K9 pair as we go forward into what is probably going to be a pretty volatile couple months up until January when Trump gets into office. That's kind of this thesis there. And we were kind of joking around in the whale chat today that an inclusion in that proposal is like, hey, ETH is actually potentially really undervalued right now. Like it could serve the DAO very well to be purchasing ETH here and put in a big chunk of liquidity. thinking that, hey, the price of ETH is probably going to reach, and again, not financial advice, but all-time highs here in the near future. So it could actually be a really good investment for the DAO as well. And then by the time that proposal went in, ETH had already popped like 12%. So hopefully, if that goes through, we get a good entry price still. I still think that buying Ethereum is a good deal at $2,800. It just feels cheap in terms of where we are with this landscape. Like ETH has an ETF. There's very many pro-crypto candidates that are now within the U.S. government. Different metrics are looking bullish. Like when you look at the last time ETH hit 4K, it was a very, very different landscape. Like way fewer smart contracts built, a way smaller development community, way fewer people onboarded, way less use cases. The market just looks a lot stronger right now. But I digress. And the third proposal here is really interesting. It was actually proposed by Shima, and I know Turtle helped him put it together, but there's a Google Cloud partner program that we're very eligible for. Shima has actually spoken to several reps at Google just about including K9 into this program already. So the proposal is about going down the path of legitimizing that involvement within that partner program, and there's a lot of really amazing perks within the program that we would get. Namely, I think it's up to $100,000 a year in Google Cloud credits that we would get access to and would significantly reduce the budget of the DAO. So like going back to that budget conversation, a lot of the major spend here is really infrastructure and validator compute and things like that, and being able to offset those costs with a grant from this program would be huge for our budget, and also give us the opportunity to potentially set up even more validators within the Shibarium network. But I've been babbling along. Turtle, do you have anything to add to that? Hopefully that was a decent overview.
No, that was a great overview, Buzz. I would add on the Google partnership, there's obviously just benefits to being aligned publicly with Google, and those kind of net press benefits we would maximize and have plans, to do our best to run with those and make sure they get as much exposure as possible. And one of the elements with Google is we're going to be providing all of the Shibarium data as a endpoint where Google can then offer it out to other builders. And it just increases Shibarium adoption. So I think overall that's just a net benefit, and we are very well positioned to take advantage of it. And the other kind of backside benefits there is there's some cool like VIP rooms you end up in with Google and other projects like Base and Solana, et cetera. And, we're exploring future opportunities for K9. So the whole management council and DAO is encouraged to be doing that. And so every room that we're in and every conversation that we have kind of being positioned as a Google partner, I think would be a strong business development environment for K9.
One of the things that popped into my mind as you were talking about bringing other validators online, Buzz, and I saw a conversation this week that was kind of asking questions about what that meant to bring other validators online. And this along with a couple of other topics that occasionally come up, the question about what does that mean when you say bring other validators online? Who are we waiting for to approve this? Can anyone do this? And inevitably, some of that V2 discussion that we've gone over before. Do you want to jump into some of the clarification on those topics?
Yes, of course. This I know we talked about it last week on the Spaces, but sometimes people can't join, and I saw this topic come up a few more times. But there's the V2 product for K9 has already launched, and we finished that in Q3. And what that means is that if you are a Shibarium validator, so that's the constant there. You have to be a Shibarium validator. If you are, you can plug into K9's system and enable liquid staking and become part of liquid staking. So K9 has the ability to do that. What we've talked about before is that there are potential partners and companies that we're working with and speaking with and individuals who have approached us that are interested in becoming Shibarium validators because they're very interested in using K9 as a liquid staking platform. What K9 cannot do is K9 cannot approve entities or individuals who are not currently Shibarium validators to become Shibarium validators. So that specific function falls on the SHIB team. So they have their own process for approving who can become a validator and their process of how they do that. Once a validator is online through that process, any of them can choose to be working with K9 to enable liquid staking. So what does that mean? I think that for a lot of the community, it seems like this a narrative has formed that it would be very, very bullish for more validators to come online with K9, and that more validators may mean a higher APR. And that isn't really true. I just want to kind of clarify that one validator can have up to 30% of all of the bone that are delegated across all validators. And you earn as a validator basically according to how much bone you have delegated to your validator. So until the K9 validator hits that 30% ceiling, there's really very little benefit to the system in terms of higher APRs to have other validators on board. The purpose of this feature, very similar to Lido, Lido has hundreds, if not thousands of validators, is that you need decentralization. So the rule in Shibarium is that the decentralization number is, hey, no validator can have more than 30%. So if they did have more than that, they would have undue influence on the network. So that's the main point of the feature. The feature is for decentralization and recognizing that we've become the largest validator on the network. We suspect that we will continue to be the most popular validator on the network because of just higher benefits of using the K9 validator. And if we were to hit that 30% threshold, that's when it becomes very, very important and useful to have V2 live, because that means that we could create another validator as a DAO and plug it into our existing system. It means that we could invite other validators that are currently online to participate. Maybe they've seen a lot of their user base migrate from their validator over to K9 and they've lost a lot of the delegated bone and they want to enable liquid staking to remain competitive. And it also means that we could work with the SHIB team and say, hey, we have a host of partners, which we do, that are very interested in validating the Shibarium network, but they really want to participate in liquid staking, and we could sign them on. Where this V2 discussion gets, I guess, bullish for an APR is really just around that constant of the more bone in the system across however many validators is bullish. But having one validator right now, since we're not quite at that 30% threshold, it's not really an indicator that we're looking at in the near term to say, hey, a top priority needs to be onboarding other validators, because we still have, I think, about Turtle, maybe you could look this number up while I'm speaking so that we know the exact amount percentage-wise that we have in our validator compared to the network. But there's still a lot of room to grow to get to that 30%. And once we start to get close to that 30%, then that becomes a really great conversation of, okay, how do we decentralize Shibarium, grow the APR by bringing more bone and not hitting that growth cap, because you won't get as many rewards once you get over 30%. But Shane, did that help maybe give an overview of that, maybe a little bit more detailed than our last spaces last week?
Yes, it was actually going to be a very good sound clip. It might not have been as short as some people would have liked it, but it was as thorough as it needed to be. Here's the takeaway from that. 1, V2 is live. V2 is already live. You can stop asking about when V2 is going to happen. It happened a minute ago, and the fact that you're asking kind of makes me wonder what you've been looking at. Where you been? We talk about this. And then the second thing is, more validators does not necessarily mean more APR, more money. What people are really looking for is here, they just want to get a couple more bucks. They want to earn some bucks. So signing up a bunch of validators right now isn't going to make a difference if SHIB can't approve them. So it's not the idea right now. Those are the two big things I took away. Is that fair to say?
Yep. I think the big takeaway, if I were to put it in a one line item, is that right now V2's live and more validators does not mean higher APR yet.
All right. Cool, because the question is going to continue to come up, but now anybody that was here can take those words and repeat them back to people as much as they need to. Now, the best thing that would ever happen would be that with V2 being live, we reach nearly 30%, and we need that validator. That would be great. That's the goal here, but you don't need to go out and try and recruit a bunch of people to get in line for a validator that no one's getting approved for right now. That's not a rush because there's not a need for those validators. Shibarium's not lacking those validators, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like that certainly is the bull case. It's like we get so much bone in the validator, we hit that 30% threshold, and then we talk to Shai and the team, and it's like, hey, we've had so much interest, we need another validator. And then we're earning double time from two validators and being able to support our community there. So I think that's what we want to focus on as a community, is how close are we getting to that 30% and what the next step is. But Turtle, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was just pulling those numbers that you mentioned, and we're currently at 17.72% of the total bone staked in the validator dataset. And basically the takeaway is there's still plenty of room to grow there up to the 30, but we are keeping a close eye on it because it has been growing pretty consistently, which is great.
An interesting question, and you don't have to pull this data, but would be the comparison between new bone hitting our validator or bone that has moved from other places, which would increase our percentage in a different way, because I think it's probably coming from both, would be my guess.
That's work for the dashboards that we have kind of going on in the background. And that's actually a good question, Shane. I'm going to write down what you just asked because I don't know that we had a query ready for that one. Have a few similar, but that's a great one.
And like out of that 17%, if 10% of it was bone that had never staked before, and then the other 7 point whatever was bone that had came from another validator, it's just interesting data. You never know what you find until you capture the data, is what I always tell people. So I think that clarifies it though, Buzz, as far as V2 goes. So if anybody ever asks about it again, there's going to be a clip to reference back to. And like I said, everybody from here heard it too. Another piece of news was the end of the gas subsidy program. Cue the sad sound effect on that. Gas subsidy program comes to an end. Can you explain what that means and talk about maybe some of the success from that?
Yeah, we had a bunch of addresses. I don't have a list of them off the top of my head, but there is a long list that people who took advantage over the course of the next few days. They will be reimbursed. So that campaign was, hey, if you're an existing validator already and you want to move to liquid staking, for the last 2 weeks, we've been saying, hey, we'll sponsor your gas fees to do so. And gas has been pretty expensive. So it could be up to like $50 to $75 that people are getting in a reimbursement. And we certainly saw our amount of bone in our validator go up, as Turtle was saying. Like there's a very strong linear trend of bone trending upwards on the validator, which is great. And this, what we did is I think we've sent out over 30,000 messages on DBank to bone holders who have been targeted as people who have over a certain amount of bone in their wallet. And what we've talked with the DBank team about is just, hey, how long do these messages take to kind of propagate and people to open them? Because there's certainly like power users of DBank, and we've kind of been filtering through like who has a web ID on DBank too, and maybe further target and retarget some of these users. But we've gotten a decent amount of opens on these campaigns, and a few people have gotten in touch with us saying, hey, like I didn't even know that Shibarium was doing all this great stuff, and didn't even know that Shibarium had liquid staking. So there's certainly a bunch of follow-up messages there that we're digging into, and sort of doing like a door-to-door marketing campaign. Like I know politics has kind of been the trend lately. It's like knocking on the doors of bone holders and singing them the gospel of what we're building here. So it's been good. It's definitely a scalable opportunity, and what really helped with this campaign is being able to have that carrot to these people and say, hey, like there's a gas subsidy program that you can take advantage of, and there's been a good amount of users that have done that. So it was successful, and we're certainly going to double down on DBank. I think the next priority is to query SHIB holders, more of an awareness campaign there. So sending all the SHIB holders messages just about what's going on in Shibarium, what's coming up for Shibarium and what we're doing as K9, and maybe engaging them to participate in some of the on-chain landscape. And K9 holders is going to be on that list too. So a metric that we look at a lot is that we have probably nearing something like 10,000 holders across exchanges and both chains. And it's hard to reference because we don't know how many are on exchanges, but we only have about, I think it's about 600 people that are using staking or locking of their K9 right now. So there's a pretty big target audience even within our own community that we need to reach, and people that wouldn't be checking Twitter or checking Telegram all the time, and shooting them a message on DBank may be another way to reach them.
It's interesting to think that you've got such an interesting opportunity. You describe it as door to door, but nothing you've said before, nothing's going to get somebody to pay attention faster than a couple of dollars sticking out of the envelope, which is what DBank has allowed you to do, to give them incentive to actually check on it. So moving through other holders seems like a great idea. I know the long-term payout on that, because you said you don't know the open rate. You don't know how long it's going to sit. You don't know how often these people check their DBank accounts. So the better your relationship, Turtle, we talked about this last week, the better the relationship that Turtle and you guys build back and forth with DBank, it's only going to pay dividends down the road. So kudos to you guys for doing it. Turtle, you're still enjoying playing with the back end on that. We're going to retarget some people, right?
Yeah, I mean, for anyone familiar with kind of data-driven like SEM marketing campaigns, it just follows the same recipe. And for now, we're just kind of spreading our wings and seeing where the best traction is, so we know where to hone in the energy. And over the last week, like Buzz mentioned, the response rate and the read and the open rate have been improved, and it's creating kind of a secondary funnel of people who have received our message, checked on it, and the plan is to, continue to chase those users down and sing them the gospel, like Buzz said. And with catalysts kind of coming in to Shibarium like Treat and all the press attention that might bring, I think it's critical over the next few months that we continue to kind of stay in front of the SHIB holders, the K9 holders, the Bone holders. DBank is going to be a great way to do that, it seems, but there are hopefully many more ways that we'll kind of discover and unlock. The more data we have available, the easier it is to do that. So all those things are kind of moving together, but so far so good, yeah.
That sounds good, man. Another incentive that's currently happening right now is the K9 Buyback that's coming from the Trend Presale. CoinMerge account is here today. I'm sure they could talk a little bit about what's going on with the K9 Buyback.
Yeah. I mean, if Buzz is okay with it, yeah. Hey, guys, it's...
If not, I'm happy to.
No, absolutely. Can you hear me, Buzz?
Can you hear him, Buzz? He's already there.
Oh, no, I can't hear, so go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries, he's good. Buzz, he can't hear you at all. That's good.
Yeah, so we did a private sale opportunity for the K9 whales specifically. One of the great perks of being a K9 whale, if you're listening here and you're not a K9 whale, definitely opportunities like that do crop up every once in a while. It's not the primary function or responsibility of the K9 Whale Group perks. We like to keep things at the K9 Whale Group more surrounded of like, hey, you get merch, or you get like, for example, the validator option, or there was the travel voucher, or things like that, or airdrop. So there's tons of benefits to being in there, but this was kind of a one-off type experience. We're partners with K9. Us here at CoinMerge, we're entirely dedicated to pushing K9 forward for years and years to come. We are absolutely lifetime partners of K9 Finance. We're definitely partners of Shibarium as well. So we're in the Shiba magazine with our products. We're offering free APIs for the Shibarium data. We're one of the very few buy bots for Shibarium, as well as data providers for Shibarium. So we really value Shiba Inu. We're friends with the whole ecosystem and kind of have, I consider us SHIB adjacent. We're not necessarily a SHIB ecosystem project because we are multi-chain and focus on the market as a whole, but that also brings new people into Shibarium and Shiba Inu. So as part of that, we did an offer, and part of what we did is we gave extra perks to K9 whales who did buy into that private sale, as well as take a portion of what was raised that's going to be going into a K9 buyback. So we sent the funds over to the official DAO wallet, which I guess is transparent. And you should be seeing a buyback on the chart. I don't know how Buzz is going to do it in Turtle, but regardless, very appreciative on our end of the opportunity and the mutual relationship that we are going to have going forward, including with the product BarkBot. There is some connection with our token launch trend and that buybot, the lion's share of value is going to be going to K9 from BarkBot. So everyone should be very excited about that. The code is being, as we speak, being transferred over to a neutral infrastructure that both companies can kind of work on. And we will be going live with that as soon as it's ready, fully tested and hashed out there. But the number of installs on our Buybot, which this is a big thing that I want to point out here, is that BarkBot, the Telegram trading bot that's cross-chain, is going to be in every single Telegram that CoinMerge's Buybot is installed in. And that's getting close to 3,000. We have new installs every single day, like 5 or 6, and sometimes more, sometimes less. But regardless, the adoption is happening. And with this new token launch, we're going to be pushing that even harder, pushing BarkBot even harder, and increasing our network as well to push K9 even harder to new KOLs, to new communities, to new outreach, to new blockchains as well. There's a lot of people on other blockchains that I think could value from K9 and could see the tech that's being built here, the amazing team, and just all the opportunities that we have to come. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it on that. I'm not here, of course, to shill CoinMerge or the trend launch, but just want to let everyone here know that we're dedicated to pushing K9 the token and K9 the ecosystem and products forward from here until the end of time, and looking forward to doing that all with you guys.
There are definitely people that watch those DAO wallets, so I'm sure a couple of people have seen that land, but now that you brought the attention to it, I'm sure people will be watching for sure. So appreciate the work that you guys have done to get that over there. When that gets done, I'm sure the tags will be on the X account, so everybody keep your eyes out for a post that goes out about that later. I'm sure everyone will be tagged in it appropriately. Another thing that happened this last week, and Buzz talked about this a little bit, speaking of working with other partners within the ecosystem, was the pairing of Bad Idea AI as the first bonus token for stakers. And there were some details about that were released with a cool infographic on the account. But I'd like to hear a little bit from Buzz about that and about what the reception to that has been, and maybe any questions people have had for you.
Yeah, of course. And I couldn't hear the CoinMerge account. I assume it's Funk at all. So if there was any question for me, I'm just kind of flying in the dark there. But yeah, there's a post in the Nest about bonus tokens. So it's a really great infographic that Entropy put together that describes how they work. For anybody who wants that summary, if you're participating in the existing farm, so you have Bone and K and Bone in the farm on the K9 product, not only are you going to earn ESK9, but you're going to earn Bad Idea. And that campaign is tentatively going to be starting on November 13th. And it's generously due to Mr. Lightspeed. So if anyone's here and wants to just put up some emojis for Mr. Lightspeed or put some comments in there, really thanking him for this, he's generously going to have the campaign going on for a full month. So APRs should be nicely boosted due to our partners at Bad Idea. They're going to hopefully do some really fun marketing campaigns with us and get some awareness out and get them some more holders. And we're going to celebrate with Bad Idea and Sarah. So I think it's going to be fun. Our existing farmers are going to earn a little bit of Bad Idea, have a higher APR. And yeah, hopefully we'll get Mr. Lightspeed on here to talk about how that campaign's going and everything he's working on over there as well.
So one of the biggest things I noticed, because I have the privilege of being able to read replies on this account, is how many other projects stood up and said, hey, wait, whoa, can we do that? Because there were people that were excited, like, yay, I'm getting bonus tokens. That's great. But there were a lot of token projects that also kind of raised their hand, and there's kind of a line forming. Did you see that too, Buzz?
I did not see that.
There I saw, I counted no less than 3 other projects I saw in different comment sections trying to figure out what it's going to take for them to be next in line to do that. And they're all 3 projects that we've had great partnerships and worked with before and had on spaces and stuff like that. But just the idea that this generates desire in 2 different directions. You might have someone decide, I'm going to stake or I'm going to take a better look at this, which is what obviously we were trying to do if we want to get above 17%. But then you also have projects themselves stepping up and saying, hey, there's value here because we get the exposure to the K9 holders. So I'll, next time I dive back through the comment section on that, there's a post when we put up the bad idea post, the one you're talking about from Entropy. If you look through the comment section in there, you'd be surprised. The idea isn't just for the holders. There's projects interested too. And if you're a project listening right now, down in the comment section, which I see some of you, you too could get in touch with K9 Finance about becoming a bonus token partner. You could probably send Buzz or Turtle a message, and that would be the most effective way to do it, because frankly, I'm behind this account, not going to be the guy technically to hook you up with that. But they can give you the details on how many tokens it's going to take, what the time frame looks like, and then what the marketing spread will look like, what it looks like to do the partnership and get the posts out and stuff. So this won't be the last, but it's certainly the first partner token from K9 Finance, right, Buzz?
Yeah, we're only going to be doing one at a time. So this is a really good learning opportunity to be working with Bad Idea for a full month, which is awesome. It gives us time to really hone in on how we can make the program really great for some partners. But I know that LTD is another one that has reached out to me privately. They're going to be coming to Shibarium soon, and really excited to be doing that as well. So that'll be another really great partner who will be utilizing this, and I'm sure Sharby is going to participate as well, which is awesome. I see Sharby here in spaces as well, so welcome Sharby. And there's going to be some really great opportunities for partners, and the minimum campaign that we want to be doing for our community is a week. So if there's a bonus token, you'd say it was Sharby. I see the emojis there. Maybe if Sharby wanted to do a week, that'd be the minimum. But Bad Idea has chosen to do a month, which is awesome. So they're going to have exclusive bonus token rights for a full month, starting tentatively around November 13th.
I'm very excited to do that. Speaking for Lightspeed, because he's not here, I know he was immediately quick to jump. Like when the question was asked, it was just, where do I send the tokens? So if you guys know how he is with things like that, it was not a problem at all to get him to be first in line. First mover advantage is very real, and he's got that nickname for a reason. This Lightspeed, because it's done before you expected it. So very cool stuff. The last thing I have on my list, and this is where we tie this off a little bit, because I've got some stuff that I want to get into here, is dashboard updates. But you and I had a conversation privately last week about dashboard updates and what this might mean as we go through the end of the month and maybe through December for show stuff. So I kind of want to get into this, because we've been getting dashboard updates, and you guys have been saying the dashboard is going to be done and stuff. But based on the conversation we had, you kind of have an expectation of maybe when you think the dashboard is going to be ready. What's the change between this week and last week? How are you feeling about that timeline?
This dashboard has become certainly a behemoth, and that's a good thing, right? I mean, opportunities like the participating in this Google Partner Program, like we never really would have had the light bulb moment go off. Like, hey, the work that we're doing here would be very, very applicable to a Google Partner Program, and things like that. So I would kind of say that this exercise has really been a rabbit hole that we've gone down, and I think that's going to make it a lot more valuable for Shibarium as well. So I'd call the stage that we're at right now, like we certainly have some dashboards up that we want to probably start teasing out and start putting them out here and there starting next week. I'd call this phase more like data integrity, internal tooling of sorts. So it's pretty important for this Google partnership, and the reporting and the monitoring and really making sure that the currentness, completeness, and correctness of the data that's all in BigQuery is good. So we have a lot of queries ready. The dashboards is getting updated. I know that people are eager to see it, and we're also eager to show like some of the very bullish insights that can be gleaned from this. But the project is getting ballooned a little bit, but I think that's an amazing thing, because opportunities like this Google Cloud partnership come out of it, and it allows us to explore things and explore opportunities that could be much bigger than just pushing out a dashboard very quickly. So appreciate the community's patience on this. We obviously had that issue where they just Dune just kind of deleted all of our data and then had to re-upload it all, and now it's a process again, but we're making good progress.
So the reason I bring it up, and some of you are going to be shocked by this, but I had a conversation with Buzz, and what I've kind of given is a Thanksgiving deadline on whatever the idea of a finished dashboard is. And let me explain why I've done that and why I feel like I have the privilege to do that. I'm going to put the devs on ice for a few weeks. And I got to break that to you guys. I got to be real. Everybody have a seat. Papa Shane's going to tell you a story. The devs have been working very hard. Buzz in particular, with his new role with Mario, has been spaced out. And that's the only way I can phrase that. If you've done a number of spaces in a day, you kind of understand what that means. These guys deserve a bit of a break. And part of my role as Spaces host here is not always just to let Buzz and Turtle and Funk come up here and have to fill up an hour of time. So when we get to Thanksgiving, the deal is going to be this. The dashboard is going to be shipped. Some version of the dashboard is going to be shipped. And there is no finished version. Perfect is the enemy of done. So something will be done. And I want to be clear, this isn't going to change your APR. It's not going to make the chart go up. This is a data dashboard for Dune Analytics. It's for nerds and dweebs like me and the boys. But it is going to be awesome to have. And then what we're going to do is we're going to insert these guys in a cryogenic chamber. Some of them will be frozen in carbonite. They've all made their decisions based on what they want to do for the holiday. But Buzz and Turtle are going to get let off the hook, and Funk too for a while if he doesn't want to, are kind of going to get the time off of these spaces. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to do them. It just means that they deserve a break. They've had to be here every damn Thursday, and I appreciate the consistency. Like, I do value the consistency of being here all the time, but I don't want to hold them responsible for being here when sometimes it's not as easy as it looks. And that is not a complaint in the slightest. But if I point around the room, you will notice that out of 12 possible speaker spots, they are filled by, the same 3 or 4 of us pretty much consistently with varied guests. So I'm going to change it up, y'all. You're going to see why I get to do Spaces hosting, and you're going to get a dose of a different flavor of this. And maybe they are just news shows. Maybe you come into the Thursday show and you get a brief K9 update from the things I've gathered from the mod group, and then maybe you get a 15-20 minute market update. Maybe I bring up partners. Maybe it's Sharby. Maybe I bring up some of the crew from some of these other projects to shoot the shit, and it's not going to be shill your other project hour, because that's not what I'm using the K9 show for. We're just going to find a way to kick it and give the boys some time off through the holidays. Fun is my number one rule. So surprise, y'all. None of you knew that, but I'm doing this preemptively because what we have to prevent is developer burnout. It's a real thing. It affects people all the time, and the holiday season is one of the worst times for mental health across the spectrum, no matter what you're doing for the holidays, whether it's stress with your family or trying to meet financial obligations and stuff like that. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you that I'm going to be aware of that. And the last thing I want to do is burn out Buzz or Turtle or make Funk and these other people that feel obligated to come here, although they are not obligated to come here. They come here out of a willingness to participate and a want to build for everyone. I don't want them to feel like they have to be here for me. Because as you can tell right now, I can talk for a while without help. So I'm going to give them a break. And I hope you guys are okay with that. And what I would appreciate from those of you that are listening live, because I know this will be recorded as well, emojis in the crowd to reinforce for Buzz and Turtle that it's okay to take some time off. It's not about me. Don't emoji for me, but let them know, because they're going to feel trepidatious about not showing up. And it'll, frankly, after the pattern we've built, be hard to not be here on that first Thursday when they have the day off. So that's my plan. I want all of you to know that it is important to let some people off the hook. So you're going to give them a break on the win-win-win. That's why we're talking about V2 being done. That's why we're clarifying that the APR isn't going to change if another validator signs up. And that's why the dashboard's getting pushed out. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. I hope you're all okay with that. Buzz, is that cool? Am I being too aggressive?
No, I like it. The emojis definitely help.
Turtle, do you think that's okay? Can you use a couple of Thursdays off maybe to get something done on your own? I don't know, maybe mow a yard or rake some leaves or something?
Yeah, no, that sounds great, Shane, and I appreciate how you dressed it down. And I think even just, I think the community could benefit. It's a DAO, and getting more voices heard and elevating different conversations, I think is the right move.
Yeah, and if they don't show up, then we're going to have a half an hour show. This is the way it's going to be. We're going to have a good time. And what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to be able to play around with it, because when the cat's away, the mice will play, is what they say. And if they just leave it to me to have the fun while I'm here, then we're going to have a good time with it. We'll do Christmas shows. Maybe I'll read you a Night Before Christmas, if that's what it has to come down to. You guys know I love doing my voices and stuff like that. Funk and I could sit down and read you a story or something like that. But I hope you guys stick around for it. And I hope you guys are willing to do that, because I do think think everybody deserves a break. And I know through the holidays, attendance is going to be weird anyway. Thanksgiving is Thursday, right? So I assume some of you won't be here for that. You're going to be somewhere, stuffing a turkey or putting up with your in-laws or whatever it is you do on Thursdays if you celebrate. Some of our Canadian friends I know are in the room, but this is all stuff that I've kind of been thinking about. And I normally sit here pretty quietly in the spaces. Like I said, my job is to host and stuff, but you'll get another version. And I hope some of you that are in the community that I've tried to get up here before, some of you are great speakers. Crypto Queen does spaces all the time. She's a great speaker and she's hilarious, but we got to get her to come up here and cut loose. Radar has a beautiful voice, and if he had the time, could come up here, and he is hilarious as well. And I would love to shoot the shit with some of these people. Season's down there. Couch, I know it's probably listening from work, but there are people here that I'd like to get in. Mazriel, man, I could listen to Maz talk for an hour, his syrupy voice. So we're going to start tagging these people, and we're going to bring them in, and we're going to do a bit of a job of giving them off time. And then come January, like a freshly charged car, they're going to be able to come out in 2025 and be ready to go for what is, I guess people are calling the bull run. I don't know if you guys knew that things were going up and stuff, but Buzz, we didn't even really talk about that. We got about 5 more minutes before I normally start the shutdown process. But for your corner this week, man, you've been taking in things at 1,000 miles an hour. Is there any one thing that sticks out you'd like to talk about?
The one thing that's on my mind, I mean, the bull run is, it's almost obvious and cliche and overplayed at this point. Like Bitcoin's at an all-time high. I think the market is all pretty aligned with, hey, the news of the last week is bullish for crypto. We're anticipating crypto go up. Hopefully some no unforeseen black swan events. Hopefully none of that occurs. But what has actually been on my mind is like the major win for prediction markets, and specifically blockchain-based prediction markets that happened throughout the election. So, I think this was such a great win for crypto. I don't know if people in the crowd were watching Polymarket, but Polymarket is basically it's kind of like an on-chain betting platform. It's things that people put their money on different predictions. And prediction markets I've been really interested in ever since the invention of Augur. So Augur was probably the earliest one, and like a fully decentralized, pretty crazy project that was founded by Joey Krug back in, I think 2015. He started working on it. 2016, they may have done an ICO, and they ended up shutting down operations. But Polymarket is kind of the one that's taken over. It's built on Polygon. And they had a really liquid market. Like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was hundreds of millions of dollars of betting that occurred using crypto on their platform. And the big takeaway for me on this was that my friends and family were looking at Polygon. Polymarket rather. There's literally an app that you can download on your phone to look at these markets. And friends and family who have no idea that this is built on blockchain were using this as a way to figure out who was going to win the election. And like if you were to look at the polls, and I'm not American, so there's going to be people who are more well-versed to speak about this than me, but from what I could see, the polls were kind of saying that the race was very close. And Polymarket was actually saying, hey, Trump is actually quite a bit ahead. Like he was about 65% to win on Polymarket, and then the night of the election was creeping up closer and closer to 100% as more and more votes were coming in. And I think it really spoke towards this paradigm of a lot less trust for mainstream media and a lot less credibility for mainstream media as well. And X being really the best source of information or media to flow through, and blockchain actually being the best place to gather data to be sharing in this new wave of media on X that's uncensored. So I think that was a huge win for blockchain and crypto in general, to have this consumer-based app that people are downloading on their phone for one of the biggest events in the world, and they're checking a blockchain to kind of get the best information about who's winning the election.
A new era in citizen journalism is what I would say. That's been the theme for the week. Funk, I see your hand up. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know if Buzz can still not hear me, but yeah, I was wanted to mention on the Polymarket thing and the markets in general. I think, regardless of your political position, the silver lining, of course, is that the crypto markets are absolutely pumping, and of course, it's a result of the election, but the poly market stuff has also been really fascinating and on my mind. People have been talking about it. It's been making the mainstream news, and crypto being a center point of that, DeFi being a center point of that, is just going to bring more attention to cryptocurrency and the value of cryptocurrency and the value of things like this. But man, poly market is just an insane, fun place to be on. They're betting whether RFK is going to get a cabinet position and Elon is, and you can kind of go on there and really just see what the sentiment is of people. And if people are willing to put their money on it, maybe they have more insider knowledge, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Obviously, some bets go one way, some bets go another. But regardless, it's just exciting to see DeFi actually having a major political prominence this time around. I know that RFK is super pro-crypto. Trump has said that he's pro-crypto, but been back and forth on it in the past, but really just bullish for the chance that maybe crypto is going to continue to rise as a result of these policies.
It's true. There was also a huge chunk of money poured into a super PAC by Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, and they had like a 75% hit rate on their candidates that they donated to all getting elected. So it was a crazy sweep even at a lower level. Go ahead, Turtle.
Yeah. That was kind of what I was getting at in the beginning of this. It's just the overall candidates, the representation that is mostly pro crypto now. And that's just a very different environment than we've been in for the last 6 to 8 years. And, poly market, I believe, I don't have a statistic in front of me, but outside of maybe Coinbase, I believe is the biggest onboarding experience of new users to crypto. Just normal people that don't even know they're onboarding to crypto. And those types of moments are massive just for the industry. The kind of underwriting of that, the other net positive, is it was built on Ethereum. And another takeaway is Trump launched a DeFi product and it was launched on Ethereum. So if that bodes of kind of what's to come, I'm very excited about where that leads us, I believe.
Me too. There's a lot of reasons to be positive about it. I know it's been a tumultuous week for people, depending on what your position really is. But the one thing we can't deny is crypto has had a positive rebound because of all of this. So it's been another great Spaces, number 42 in a row, and a great show this week. For those of you that made it in here and left comments, I appreciate that. We're going to do the same thing again next Thursday. We do these at 3 p.m. EST every week. The weekly DAO update. The reminders from this week were the forum budget proposal, the Google Cloud proposal, the liquidity proposal. Make sure to check those things out. We covered the V2 discussion. It's out. It's there. Don't worry about it. Stop asking. The gas subsidy is over. The K9 buyback from Trend is happening. It's a real thing. That's coming. Bad idea tokens are going to start flowing at some point in time here a couple days from now. And then the dashboard has kind of a soft landing date, at which point I'm going to rip your beloved devs off of Spaces because I am a bully. That is your update for the K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces. I am Pulse Digital. I can't believe you guys continue to let me host the show, but for some reason I get to come back every week. I appreciate it. I do not do this lightly. I appreciate you guys letting me do this. Buzz, Turtle, Funk, I appreciate you guys being part of the show. Let's do it again next week. What do you say? Have a great day, everybody. I appreciate you.